The latest Bloomberg National Poll shows that most Americans disapprove of the president's efforts and the way he is handling almost every major issue facing the country. We're talking about jobs, the deficit, health care, the oil spill, and Afghanistan. Here with some analysis is Bloomberg's Washington bureau chief, Mike Tackett. Mike, thanks so much for joining us here this morning. I mean, is there anything that the White House can do right now to turn around what looks like a pretty big PR problem?
Well, good morning, Deirdre. I think the White House must feel as though they're getting punished for good behavior. Here they are doing everything they said they were going to do, passing major legislation, and the bad news is they're not getting any credit for it. So now what they need to try to do is to pivot and do what they did very well during the campaign, the very thing people expected of them, which is to be effective communicators and effective campaigners. So the one thing they can do going forward before the midterms is to get out there, campaign, play to their strengths, and see if the president can turn this around rhetorically.
Mike, one interesting thing that the poll showed up is while people are unhappy with President Obama's efforts, they seem to blame former President Bush. How can the White House capitalize on that?
Well, the good news for the White House is that people still feel that way. The bad news is George Bush isn't on the ballot. So I'm not sure they really can capitalize on it, although I think you'll hear them start to talk about that. We also saw news this morning that President Bush's book called Decision Points may well come out before the election. So George Bush, again, may be in the discussion.
All right. What do the numbers mean for Congress? I mean, there's a lot going on in D.C. We were just hearing from Peter Cook, who's down there with you. I mean, does this change anything that gets done or not in the next few months?
Well, you would think that it would lead to inaction, and yet what we're being told very clearly is that we still may see action on something like energy. Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, has promised that an energy bill would be acted upon as soon as July 27th. That may be a bit ambitious, but the president's pushing that as well, so we may see that before Labor Day.
Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Bloomberg's Washington bureau chief joining us there, Mike Tackett.